What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another Brand Doctor live stream. We got my man Owace Qureshi in the house once again. Hopefully he's not frozen. It's kind of looking a little
I think I am. What's going on, everyone? Let's wait for this camera to reset real quick.
Now you got me.
That's a great way to start.
Right? Now you got me bugged. Nice profile shot, by the way.
Thank you, man.
Nice profile shot.
How long is this thing gonna stay frozen? Let's take a look.
Oh man.
Oh man.
If you have
Not
to
a
shoot
good way to start out.
Yeah, if you have to shoot out and come back in, feel free. I'm confident I could hold the fort down for a minute. We got Orange County websites in the house once again. What's going on? Peter Butler's back in the house. Looks like the Terminator. Mila Jovovich is back with us. What's going on, Mila?
You love the Fifth Element. Resident Evil was good, but Fifth Element is badass.
Right. Oh man, my son asked me the other day, like, who's the Avengers? And I was like, you got to go ask your Uncle Teddy for that. Like, no way I'm even trying to think, pull off who those all are.
Oh man.
Well, man, I do want to publicly thank everybody, real quick, for reaching out to me over the past couple of days. On Monday, my dog was not doing very well. Looked like he had a serious case of Lyme disease, which he's still fighting off. But the good news is that the medication is working and he's bouncing back pretty strong. And I just want to thank everybody who messaged me and sent their prayers and thoughts over the past couple of days. It certainly has been paying off, and I just wanted to say thanks for everybody. Yes, there's two ways you could look at this. Yeah, it's just a dog. And then you could also look at it as they are a family member as well. So just appreciate everybody. So let's talk about today's topic of conversation. And it's all about brand strategy and whether or not brand strategy is worth it. I've been around the internet marketing world for probably going 7 years now, and very interesting to see different sides of how people see brand strategy. Some people think it's a complete waste of time. Some people don't know what it is, and some people would not build a business without it. So I wanted to give the true definition of brand strategy before we get started, and then break down brand strategy ligament to ligament, and to really show you exactly what brand strategy is, because it's very, very important. So the Google definition of brand strategy is the long-term plan to achieve a series of long-term goals that ultimately result in the identification and preference of your brand by consumers. So if you had to paraphrase that, always, how would you paraphrase that?
Good question. So for me, and the way that we define it is a well-defined or a structured method to organize who it is that you serve and what is it that you do, who you are, and how you're uniquely positioned in the marketplace, so that it again informs your marketing and sales with clarity and prevents you from exhausting your capital on something that's fragmented.
Yeah. So there's a lot there, obviously. Yeah. And I want to be able to break it down section by section so people could really digest what brand strategy really is. But I want to pose this question, and this is a really great question to kind of kick off today's conversation. And it's, how much is it costing you as a result of not having a set of predefined parameters that enables prospects to qualify or disqualify themselves from working with you. So how you create those parameters is through brand strategy. Okay. So brand strategy is simply put, guys, it's a way to organize who you are, who you serve, how you're uniquely positioned in the industry or in the marketplace. And to Oasis' point, it's a structured framework that's going to help you drive your marketing and sales. How you're going to do that is through clarity, certainty, confidence, obviously. And when you don't do it this way, you run the risk of exhausting your capital, running out of money. How many times have you heard, Oasis, I spent all my money on my funnel and now I have no money to advertise it? That's horrible. That's an ass backwards approach to building out a marketing campaign, a funnel campaign, etc. Right? So that's what we need to really understand here before we move in. So I'm going to go back up to the top and talk about who you are as the founder of this company. And what do you stand for? Why did you get into this line of business? What higher mission are you on? I have a friend on Instagram, Cindy Eckert, and she sold two businesses, over the past 10 years.
Wow.
For over both of them totaled over a $1.5 billion. And she is on a mission now to help other women create wealth for themselves. Like, that's powerful. That is a powerful mission, right? So she knows who she is. She's a badass female entrepreneur that wants to make moves, wants to make an impact to other women, right? So that's huge. So knowing that, now you know what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing. Is this going to help me or hinder my mission? But Oasis, how many business owners that you know, they're still a little unclear of that mission that they're trying to, roll out.
Henry, perhaps it's something that they think about, but they have not they don't have it well documented. They haven't taken the time to really process through that particular mission and see how it drives them on a day-to-day basis, right? Once for founders, especially for business owners, once they have that absolutely clear and documented, something that reminds them on a day-to-day basis, why is it that they do what they do and what they're striving for? I believe that it gives them that sort of a drive. It powers them, and it gravitates. Now let's take them out of that picture. It enables others that buy into that or that have that same belief system to gravitate towards them and towards their business, and that's the impact of a well-documented mission, or your standards, or what you're unwilling to compromise.
Right, your non-negotiables.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love it.
Now it goes back to your original point of enabling prospects to either qualify in or qualify out.
Yeah, I mean, are they? I was telling you yesterday how I'm doing some competitive research right now, and I'm listening to a lot of the video testimonial that's going on right now on this person's website, and they're saying that they loved this person's leadership. Like, he is a very strong leader, and they want to acquire that. They want to aspire to be a strong leader like this person. So he knows who he is, right? And he's done a good job positioning himself as a leader just through his branding. His offerings have the word leader in them. So it's powerful stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So he understands the angle that he's coming in to the market. So he's going to attract other leaders that want to be leaders. Yeah. And that's huge.
That's right.
You know,
that is
that's a great little niche, man. A great little corner. Right. I play the clarity confidence play. Like that's who I am. And that's my mission, is to help people create more clarity and confidence within themselves so that they can create the lifestyle. I like to use the word design, but design the lifestyle that they want for themselves. Right. And so that's it, you know, and I didn't pull those two words out of a hat. I lived it, or I should say lived without a lot of clarity and confidence most of my life, and found bits and pieces here and there along the way until I finally came into myself much later on in life and said, this is my life's work now, is to help other people find that. And I just happen to do it through brand strategy and brand identity design. Right. So, you know, we're launching a new brand this week, the Delaney Policy Group brand. And to see this guy light up when we jump on Zoom calls, when he's looking at his new brand identity, is powerful stuff. You know, you just take somebody he sees himself as a B player who's really an A player inside. And now you level up his brand identity system with an A game. He's now at the next level. I want to talk about this for a second, because it's so present and it's so real time. I was working with a brand accelerator client this morning, and we were going over our outlier client for his business. And we were discussing, this is a higher net worth type of client. This client is making about $650,000 a year, not as an entrepreneur, working at a company. And they want to grow their wealth, because my client is a financial planner. Okay. And he said to me, I am in the business to helping people save money and grow their net worth. So I have a hard time charging a premium for my stuff. So I am stuck trying to figure out how I do this without keep hitting this glass ceiling. Right. And I felt for this guy because I was him. I knew how long it took to do design jobs. Some jobs I can get done in 20 minutes. So I would only charge, I don't know, $100, because I can't charge more than that. It's only going to take me 20 minutes. Now it's a whole different ball game. So I explained to him, let's take it from a different angle. Okay. Some of you guys, I'm sure if you follow me for some time, you've heard me say this before or take this angle. But for those folks that haven't heard this angle before, I'm going to share it with you again. I told him, let's see the next outlier client that comes your way looking for help. Right. I want you to ask them this question. What do you want your net worth to be in the next 5 years? So let's do simple math. I want my net worth in the next 5 years to be 5 million. Oh, I'm sorry, 1 million. Just keep the numbers easy. 1 million. Okay. So out of that 1 million, What do you want to invest? What percentage of that million do you want to invest to get you there? So now the customer says, I don't know, let's 10%. Okay, so 100 grand over the next 5 years. So if you do the math, that's not a lot of money.
Yeah.
It's
20
not.
years. I'm sorry, 20,000 a year.
20,000 a year. That's pretty doable. And if you do the math on that per month, it's even more digestible. So I just helped my client take himself right out of the equation.
Yeah.
I said, buddy, it's not about you. It's about them. This type of client is ready, willing, and able to pay 100 grand to make $1 million. They want to spend the 100 grand.
Yeah.
Like I have money sitting in an account that I'm dying to spend. The only reason why I'm not spending it is because I don't know what to spend it on yet. And I don't know who to spend it with yet.
That's a good problem to have, man.
But I'm done. Yeah, but that's his client's problem as well.
Yeah.
So he needs to understand that, right?
How do you drive that need, or how do you trigger that need?
Right. And stop feeling bad for charging that level of work. Like, and this guy's got 28 years experience.
It's got to amount to something.
Exactly. So that was the big takeaway from today's conversation was, guy, you are worth every penny of that. You have clients sitting in front of you that want to pay that kind of money to bring that kind of return. And you're self-sabotaging that opportunity. They're not. You are. So you gotta think that one over.
Yeah.
And he said, well, Henry, how can I feel comfortable charging that kind of money and not guaranteeing a result? I go, buddy, I charge a premium for my work. I can't guarantee a result. I can't guarantee that what I deliver to you, you're going to take and run and not screw it up or not follow through with the action plan that I told you to do. I can't. So I'm not going to take on that burden. I'm going to deliver on my promise. And then that's it. So you're comfortable with delivering on your promise, right? You wouldn't screw anybody, right? No. All right. So just focus on that. That's not to go too far off tangent here, but this goal goes back to understanding who do we serve. So if he understood his client better, he'd know that they want to spend that kind of money to make that kind of return. And they're looking for a resource like him to make that happen.
And let me bring it down to one specific statement. Confidence in what you bring to the table.
That's it.
Because that's what I sensed when this client was asking, what do I have to give?
Yeah.
Why should I charge this much?
Yeah.
Now this reframes it and says, look, now you have confidence in what you bring to the table.
Yeah. There's some great stuff inside the comments. I want to get into some of the comments here. So first of all, I want to say hi to Sahami. How are you? Welcome back, I should say. And then Pete Butler says, can we get into this more? Branding is creating a personality and it aligns with your ideal customers. It's like dating. And then he wrote a paragraph here. Dating is the model for business success. Yeah, true. So think of your business as someone who's looking for a date. You have the qualities that you're looking for. In your customers that align.
I
It takes
agree.
time to build relationship. It takes time to build trust. Yeah, this is great stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And primary thing is that if you have clearly defined, just like, okay, let's use dating as the example. If
Mm-hmm.
you've clearly defined what an ideal romantic partner looks like to you, whether it be from a physical standpoint or whether it be from a personality standpoint, and an alignment in your values, well, guess what? You're now going to be very proactive in either looking for that or filtering that out.
Yeah. Well, here's
And it's the same thing on the business side.
I think here's a good conversation too, real quick. So another particular client was struggling with focusing too much on a competitor that was subpar to them or inferior to them, right? And it was very demotivating for them because they would see, like, they would be following this competitor on Instagram, and they would see their clients liking that competitor's post, and it was really getting to this person, right? And I said to them, why are you following an inferior competitor?
Yeah.
That's like, if you really want to put yourself out of business, go continue to pay attention to inferior competitors that are doing more revenue than you. God, that'll put you right out of business.
Yeah.
So I said, instead, why don't you find a competitor that has a solid business that you aspire to be and go follow them and then take some notes. All right. I'm always looking at competitors that are better than me in certain ways, because that's going to level my ass up.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it becomes an ongoing practice.
Yeah. And inspire me. So that's very, very important to understand. So, looks like Michelle's back in the house. She says, just like horror dates, have you seen many horror brands? Yeah, there's a lot of horror brands.
Yeah.
How about Subway?
Yeah.
What did Jared Fogle do that completely plummeted that brand's reputation?
Yeah.
Right? Oh
Absolutely.
my God. Imagine being Subway when that shit hit the fan. Yeah. Good Lord. Why did we have to pick him of all people? Oh man. Yeah, that's a story from hell. That's a brand, that's an epic brand fail.
Yep.
But getting back into brand strategy. So we covered who we are, who we serve, and how we're uniquely positioned in the marketplace. That's number 3, right? That's number 3. Mm-hmm. So here's my question for you. What's the difference that makes the difference to the unsold client? What's the difference that makes the difference to the unsold client?
So can I add on to that?
Be my guest.
And this somewhat has to do with the visual identity piece of it as well, which we get to later, right? What good is standing out if you don't stand out to the right client?
That's a great question. Yeah, that's a great question.
Always goes back to your client, right? Mm-hmm. Put them in the focal point. Mm-hmm. Get a clear line of sight in terms of, and so now to answer your question, Henry, what's the difference that makes the difference to the unsold client? Well, guess what? That difference is when you address exactly what their shared challenges are. When you address, how you're enabling them to overcome those particular challenges. And more importantly, conveying empathy, because you are now acknowledging those challenges.
Yeah. Yep. That's excellent points.
Right.
Excellent points.
So because they need to feel acknowledged, and once they feel that level of acknowledgement, guess what happens over a course of, or over a series of continuous, repeated, very targeted, personalized messages that truly connect with those particular clients, it will build trust and it will develop and establish credibility for your brand. And that's what they'll feel. That those are the emotions that will reinforce your brand into their minds. And that's when you win their hearts and minds, you win their business.
Yep. See that? Yep, exactly. Pete Butler is behind you 1,000%. When you define a problem that your product or service solves, a problem that's keeping your customers from reaching their goals or achieving success, you'll gain more sales and grow. Facts. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So understanding that difference is super important. And it could be as simple as knowing that your clients want a higher standard when it comes to online identity. It's one of my clients is big things is we don't look the way we should online.
Yeah.
It's like having a stain on the back of your shorts and your shorts are white.
Yeah.
And walking around with that, you know, that you're always going to be self-conscious of the stain that's square in the middle of your ass. And people are pointing at it going, what that guy sit in? It's the same thing. Like it's the same thing having a horrible brand identity and knowing it. It's the same thing as not having a proper brand strategy before you go out and execute a new website, a new funnel, a new logo. I don't know where I come up with these examples, but that was the one that came to mind today. I'm sorry. Right. So
yeah, but I mean, you're at the risk of burning through some serious cash if you do not define these parameters first.
Yeah.
Right. And that could be either in a form of like some actual cash, like let's say, okay, you hire someone that isn't a specialist, isn't an expert, isn't experienced, and is more of an order taker, right? You go to McDonald's and you place an order. Yes, great, they have a process, and you go ahead and get this meal, but it's the same cookie cutter meal over and over and over again.
Yeah,
it's not personalized to your taste. It's not a 5-star treatment.
Yes.
So the reason why I say all of that is it's the same sort of a situation where if you hire someone that isn't an expert, they will just take your order, go ahead and build you a website, go ahead and build you a visual identity. It might look good, but it will have absolutely zero functionality when it comes to qualifying or disqualifying an ideal client, because it will never even speak to them.
Well, going back to the whole dating analogy, how many dates have you gone on in the past when the other person was pretty good looking, but when you actually sat down and had an hour dinner with them, they were, you know, their personality was like the equivalent of a fucking mosquito. Like,
exactly.
What a waste of time.
Yeah.
I went through it. I built out a $26,000 website 10 years ago with no real brand strategy behind it. And it was the biggest waste of money. Yeah, it had all the bells and whistles and it was pretty, but it did not speak to the client that I wanted to help. And the horrible thing back then was I didn't even know who the hell I wanted to help. I just was like, oh, let me just get this fancy website. Maybe I'll attract fancy clients. No, it didn't work out that way. And I had to wind up redoing the whole damn thing. And it was a sin. But lesson learned.
Lesson learned.
Now I can tell you guys, don't make the same decision. That's a $26,000 mistake.
Get clear on who you want to work with, who you don't want to work with, and what expectations. Look, clients have expectations of you. You should have an equal amount of expectations of what an ideal client should come in with, especially if you're a service provider. Yeah. How should they be buying from you? How should they be interacting with you? What sort of accountability do you have in place for them?
Yeah.
Guess what? Now that positions you as the expert. Now that position, that's the differentiator there now too as well, because you're no longer in commission breath.
Yep. Exactly. Exactly. So this leads to the next conversation, which I'm being conscious of time here. We probably got about 10 minutes to rip through this, and then we'll call it a wrap, right? So the structured framework that drives your marketing and sales, right? We talked about clarity, certainty, confidence, right? The importance of clarity. Let's talk about that for a second. I had a client last year who at this point has one of I think he's in the top 5 of most popular podcasts in the UK right now. So he's got a humongous audience that wants to work with him, but he didn't know who he wanted to work with. So there was no way to funnel that audience into a paid service until he met me. And I said, listen, you got 2 types of clients here, and you can't have one funnel to try to get them both. You need 2 separate journeys because it's 2 separate needs, 2 separate wants. So we built out 2 separate funnels. This guy landed his first 90K client in 3 weeks. It's insane. Just with a simple funnel to get him from the podcast to a conversation. That's the power of funneling, but that's the power of clarity. Now he knows who he's talking to and could put the right message in front of those people to slide them down the funnel.
Yeah.
That's the power of clarity. What about certainty? Now you have the clarity. Now the certainty kicks in. Right? You want to speak to this?
Yeah. I mean, you're, and I mean, I guess that goes into confidence as well, but I mean, you are certain in terms of what you represent and what you don't represent. You are certain in who you want to work with and who you don't want to work with. You are certain in what standards you bring to the table and what you are unwilling to compromise.
Exactly.
And when you're certain in that, when you have a strong foothold on that, go ahead, Henry.
There's a lot of power behind that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now you're the chooser, not the chosen.
Yeah, exactly. And you command who you will work with from that point on.
Yeah. There's a lot to say about that. You know, I was telling my client this morning, like, 40 years old, man. I'm done working with clients that are bad fits. I did that for 10 years. Sucked. I felt like I had to take them on because I had to keep the doors, I had to keep the lights on and the business flowing. It's not the case anymore. And now that I only work with 10 clients a year at max, I got to be really picky because that's 100 hours I'm going to spend with that person. Right? So times that by 10, it's 1,000 hours. I want to make sure that I'm having fun with that person, right? Or with that client. Yeah. I had an old boss at the hospital, right? Let me tell you this story. It's funny. So it was right when I got out of college, and I had this boss who hated me because of who I was related to. And the fact that she had to hire me because of the politics really pissed her off. And she made my life a living hell for 90 days because she knew if I could write a bad, because that you're in a 90-day probation when you first start, right? So if you get a bad report at the end of the 90 days, you're out, right? So I'll never forget it. They would like set me up because I didn't have a big job. I was checking insurances before people went in for surgery, right? And they would set me up. They would purposely make the mistake and then bring it in to my office to see if I'd catch it. And like, I was new. So there's a couple times that it went by and I didn't catch it. And she'd come in storming, you're not doing it right, blah, 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 right? So I noticed that I was being treated this way for a consecutive, a couple months now, right? So I'm like, shit, my 90 days is coming up. I better keep track of all of this. So I documented all of the bullshit that she made me do. Like at the end of like my lunch period, which I broke around 11, I would come back from lunch at 12 and she'd be like, Henry, from 12 to 4:30, you're going to be in the waiting room making sure that the coffee bots are clean. And you're checking up, you're just giving updates to the family members. Now, that's not what my role was on the description, but that's how she was sticking it to me, right?
Man.
So I didn't like to do this, but at the time I said, I don't know what else to do. So I went to the person who got me the job and just made him aware of what was going on. But then I went to my boss's boss and I had, one of those black and white notebooks. It looks like camouflage, like the ones you used to bring to school.
That's right.
I had pages documented and dated of the shit that went down that day that I didn't think was right. And I gave it to my boss's boss. And I said, this is what's been going on. And she says to me, oh my God. She says, all right, let me look into this. She says, let me get back to you next week. We'll see what we can do. So she gets back to me. I love this woman. This woman, there was a reason why she was a senior VP at this hospital. She really had her shit together and she really knew how to manage people. She come back to me and she said, Henry, I got a position just like this upstairs in the breast center.
Wow.
Doing the same thing. I don't know if it's more money, but if you want to go up there, the spot's yours. And this is what she said to me. For you to stay here and continue to work under these circumstances, it's not going to be good. And she said, you're going to be here 2,000 hours a year. Don't you want to work with some people that, appreciate you? And I said, I do. So I wind up taking the job upstairs, $4 more an hour. And to me at 23 years old, that was like, forget it. I just hit the freaking lottery. Right. And it wasn't a lot but I'll never forget that point. She said, Henry, you're going to be here 2,000 hours a year. You want to work with people that you want to come to work. You want to feel good coming to work. And if you stay here, you're not going to get that. And it just is what it is. So she moved me and I was up there another 2.5 years, much better environment. Nobody really gave a shit of who I was, which was great. And then I got my job in the children's hospital, which led to me learning design and me eventually becoming a designer and getting the hell out of there and starting my own business. And here I am 14 years later. So, but that's the point that I want to make. When you have that certainty of who you want to work with and who you don't want to work with, that leads to the third C, which is the confidence. And when you are working with a full tank of confidence, there is nothing you can't do. Nothing. There's going to be haters. There's going to be people pulling at your ankles, trying to say, you can't do that. Who do you think you are? And the list goes on. My advice to you, you're certain, you're clear, and now you're confident. Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
You're unshakable. Unshakable.
That's it. And that's the power of brand strategy.
Yeah.
That's
and people buy that confidence too. They do. It could be your ideal clients, of course, but then also other vendors, other strategic partners, employees.
Yep.
They all gravitate towards that.
Yep. So Last point here before we wrap up is, exhausting the capital because of a fragmented process.
Yeah.
See, that's the power of brand strategy as well. It brings together a systematic process that takes you from point A to point C in a way that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's another big problem my clients have is there's a service offering over here that nobody can get to because there's not a proper funnel to get to it. They have this color scheme going on for this landing page, but the majority of the brand is this color and this typography and this messaging.
Yeah.
But over here looks like the redheaded stepchild. And like that was the big problem Russell had. Russell Brunson. He came to me and says, like, I got 6 different identities going on at once here. Nobody knows what the hell, what end is up. I need somebody to come in and just cohesively and consistently create this thing for me because it's going to be big. And that's what we did for 2.5 years. It took a while to get that going, but it paid off. 6 months later, he hit 100 mil. And now look, he's headed towards $1 billion valuation, which is huge. So that's the power. When you fragment this stuff out, you're going to waste a shit ton of money. And I listen, I've been there. I did it. That's why I'm so passionate about doing this. Right? So as we wrap this up, as I'm looking at time now, we're just about out of time. I got 2 more questions for you. Okay? And it has to do with messaging. Now that we took you through this process so you have an idea of the depth of brand strategy, let me ask you this. Is the message, aka the promise that you're delivering to your potential clients, clear on the solution that you offer that the competition can offer or doesn't offer? You got to get clear on that. And then lastly, how does your messaging need to be communicated more effectively? So at the end of the day, guys, brand strategy is going to inform that marketing. It's going to inform those design decisions. It's going to inform those sales decisions. So you put the right things, right? When I say things, I say offer. You put the right messaging in front of the right people to make the right things happen, right?
At the right time.
Timing is everything as well. Yeah. So without it, you're shooting into the dark. How long are you going to shoot into the dark for? Yeah. Now, I did it for 10 years before I shaped up and went through a brand strategy myself with a vendor. And then I really got clear. I love working with personality brands. Now, if a small to medium-sized business comes in, they want branding help, I'm not going to turn them down if I like them. But I love working with personality brands. It just because I can relate to them. I've gone through a lot of the heartache that they maybe are going through or are about to go through if they don't shape up, and I can navigate them away from that. And that's why I'm so confident in it. Right? That's why I'm so confident in it. So that's the big takeaway of today's message is brand strategy informs marketing, design, and sales decisions. Without it, you're really playing Russian roulette with your hard-earned money. And I don't know about you, but I'm not a gambler. I'd rather pay a premium for assurance that I'm going to be talking to the right people and creating the right offers and the right brand identity to get in front of the right people to make the biggest impact. So right. I just want to give a huge shout out to Jordan. They said, love the stream. So I appreciate you. I haven't seen you yet in a live stream. So I want to welcome you to the show. So guys, real quick before we go, if you need help with your brand strategy, I highly recommend you book a one-on-one brand assessment with me. You could do that through my website at Unique Designs with a Z at the end, not an S.net. And you'll see it in the show notes underneath here and in the description. I'd be happy to sit down with you, help you get a little focus, get a little clarity on the next steps, and then potentially continue working with you or put you in the right direction to get the help that you need based on that assessment. So with that said, every Monday, every Wednesday, 2 p.m. Eastern, we are here to help you build a strong, profitable, reputable, strategic personal brand that's going to help you scale to that 7-figure level and beyond, because it is possible. If I could do it, you could do it. That's going to help you design the life that you deserve. So have an amazing, amazing day, guys. And we will catch you next Monday. Take care.